Welcome to today's Energy Central webcast entitled Critical Success Factors for Accelerating Successful Smart Grid Pilots. A few housekeeping notes we would like to mention. For best results in viewing this presentation, we recommend using a wired, high-speed internet connection, as wireless connections can be unpredictable. If you cannot get adequate sound from your computer speakers, you may dial into the audio portion using the telephone number listed in the right-hand panel of your interface under the audio section. Following today's speakers, we will have a brief question and answer period. You may submit your questions at any time using the question interface on your screen. Now I'd like to introduce today's panel. First, we'll have Johanna Lanitas, who is a Senior Project Associate for Energy Industries at the World Economic Forum. Secondly, we'll have Simon Giles, who is a Senior Manager of Smart Grid Strategy at Accenture. At this time, I'd like to turn the floor over to Johanna. Johanna, it's all yours.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you very much for the opportunity to present the work we are doing on smart grid together with Accenture. I would like to start by quickly introducing the World Economic Forum and the Energy Industry Partnership, and then provide some background information on the smart grid project. The World Economic Forum is an independent international organization committed to improving the state of the world by engaging business, political, and academic leaders in a dialogue. This dialogue takes place globally at our annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland, and our annual meeting of the new champions in China every year. Regionally, in our regional meetings throughout the year, and at the industry level within our 20 industry teams, the Energy Partnership being one of them. The Energy Partnership is currently composed of over 50 companies representing 26 countries and interacting regularly with experts, policymakers, and international organizations. The engagement of our energy community is done through virtual meetings like this one, workshop co-hosted with partner companies, and strategy meeting with heads of strategy. The energy team is also producing insight and research on a series of themes every year. And in 2010, the themes we addressed were energy efficiency, scaling up renewable, and smart grid, which is our focus today. Since 2009, the energy team, in partnership with Accenture, has been addressing smart grid to identify the challenges and opportunities of smart grid globally, and engaging stakeholders from the entire smart grid value chain in the project. The governance structure of the project includes a steering board and a task force composed of companies from the utility, IT, telecom, consumer, and engineering and construction industries. The steering board of the project includes CEOs or senior executives from 7 companies that are Accenture, Cisco, Current Group, Duke Energy, GE, Huawei Technology, and Siemens. And the task force gathered 25 smart grid experts from companies including, for example, AMEC, BT, GDF Suez, IDEO, HCL Technology, Nissan Motors, among many others. In 2009, the project and research led to the publication of the Accelerating Smart Grid Investment Report. The report highlighted that there is no one-size-fits-all, but that different smart grid solutions will emerge depending on the context and the desired outcomes. It also highlighted that there is no easy solution, but that the success of smart grids will require a real paradigm shift in the technology deployment, cross-industry collaboration, appropriate regulation, and improved consumer engagement. These learnings were brought to the World Economic Forum Task Force on Low Carbon Prosperity in September 2009, and to discussion at the annual meeting in Davos in 2010. The key finding that emerged from this consultation is the importance of demonstration projects across different regulatory regimes, and to share the learning from these experiences. At the same time, we observed an increase in public money spending towards smart grid, with, as a result, a growing number of pilot projects developing worldwide. To ensure that public and private money is spent effectively, smart grid pilots must be successful in testing all aspects. Based on all these findings, we decided that the focus of our smart grid project in 2010 should be to provide a platform for public and private stakeholders to share knowledge on what it takes to create successful smart grid pilots and move forward smart grid development. B, to define the success factors for the future pilot projects, and C, to catalyze concrete partnership for action. Over 60 industry, policy, and regulatory stakeholders were engaged in building the Accelerating Successful Smart Grid Pilot report. The report was launched in September 2010 at our annual meeting of the new champions in China. It was presented in Chinese and English to the media by a panel of project members during a press conference. The report was featured in more than 75 press articles globally. The research also informed a dialogue series involving public and private stakeholders, and the key events that we have organized in 2010 include, for example, a Smart Grid Europe workshop that took place in Brussels and gathered more or less 40 experts from the industry as well as policymakers to discuss the smart grid developments in Europe. Participants discussed existing pilot projects on the way in Europe and focused specifically on the political and regulatory requirements to support the smart grid pilots in Europe. Then the recommendations were brought to US industry leaders and regulators at our Smart Grid North America workshop that took place in November, hosted by GE in their headquarters in Atlanta. The key outcomes of the report were also presented in Cancun during a roundtable co-organized by the Mexican government and the World Economic Forum in the context of COP16. So these were some of the highlights of our smart grid project so far. Before I hand over to Eric and Simon to present in more detail the report and the recommendation, we would like to show you a video that we have developed to support the project and give visibility to the report. The video will be presented to our community in Davos in 2 weeks and posted on our website, but we would like to showcase it to you today. So if you look at your screen, the video should start in a few seconds.
Electricity is fundamental to modern society and the economy. However, most of the world relies on electricity systems built around 50 years ago. These are inefficient and cannot offer an appropriate response to today's urgent global challenges. There is an estimated $13 trillion investment required in energy infrastructure over the next 20 years. This poses an imminent need and opportunity to shift towards a low-carbon, efficient, and clean energy system. Smart grids will be a necessary enabler of this transition. What is a smart grid? A smart grid is an intelligent, digitized energy network, delivering electricity in an optimal way from source to consumption. This is achieved by integrating information, telecommunication, and power technologies with the existing electricity system. The benefits of a smart grid include improved efficiency and reliability of the electricity supply, integration of more renewable energy into existing networks, supporting the development of electric vehicles at scale, new solutions for customers to optimize their electricity consumption, reduction of carbon emissions.
Smart grid is not just about improving the existing infrastructure that empowers our world. It is about realizing the full potential of what we can offer. New transport solutions, support for new economies, and to use the resource we have in the most effective and efficient manner.
The World Economic Forum September 2010 report, Accelerating Successful Smart Grid Pilots, Developed in partnership with Accenture and industry experts from across the smart grid value chain, outlines the industry's challenges and conditions for success. Governments are increasingly recognizing the value of smart grids. China aims at building a strong smart grid by 2020. The US has dedicated $4.5 billion of its fiscal stimulus package. Significant initiatives are currently underway in Europe, Japan, Australia, and Korea. Are smart grids guaranteed to succeed? To ensure that public and private money is spent effectively, smart grid pilots must be successful in testing all aspects. A poorly planned and executed pilot can set back the adoption of smart grids and negatively impact the public perception of low-carbon technologies. Deploying smart grids at scale will be challenging, but successful pilot projects can set the direction. From discussions and research in some of the 90 pilot projects underway worldwide, emerged a series of lessons that can improve the effectiveness of existing and planned pilots and accelerate their transition to full-scale rollout.
Smart grids are absolutely fundamental if we're going to achieve some of our climate change objectives. If you like, smart grids are the glue, they're the energy internet of the future, and they are the essential component which is going to bring demand and supply together.
Main obstacles to achieving a smart grid right now is the same obstacles that confront any new innovative set of products, which is there's not a common understanding on what the objectives of the smart grid will be. Some people focus more on reliability or efficiency or renewables or the consumer. My own view is that it's all of those things, and that the smart grid will become a platform that supports and promotes all of them.
I want to talk about the smart grid from the ICT's perspective. Information technology will not only support the smart grid to be automatically observable and controllable. More importantly, it will help us to achieve the vision of smart grid for everyone.
The one concern that I have is that we oversell the value of it because it's going to take a while to roll it out, and it will enable things like a plug-in electric vehicle, but it's going to enable things we can't yet imagine. So I think it holds great promise for the future, and it's really critical that we make the economic decision today to implement it so that we can prepare for tomorrow.
Pilots should be used to improve regulatory incentives. Regulators have a critical role to play in creating innovation reward schemes that align incentives across the electricity value chain and encourage utilities and their partners to develop new technologies, operating and business models while acknowledging the risks involved. Pilots need to develop greater consumer insight and systematically engage with consumers. Utilities will need to develop new business models, attract everyday customer value propositions, and ways to communicate them clearly to ensure adoption.
In my mind, the most important success factor is consumer acceptance. Having a smart grid pilot that provides value to consumers, that provides applications that help consumers reduce their energy bill and gain visibility and control will, I think, provide the foundation for popular support for smart grid investments throughout the industry.
Decision makers need to take on board these recommendations to deliver smart grids, a cornerstone for a low-carbon, efficient, and secure energy future.